My name's Bill Costarides, and I'm with Traders Den 24, and I'm the founder of Traders Den 24, and I started in this business, I hate to say it, in 1977, so I'm what they call an old man in the investment business. I managed some 500 million or more in assets at one time as a money manager. I've done investment banking. I've had my own brokerage firm and broker-dealer. So I've done a little bit of everything, but I have been involved with the Globex since day one. And when I say day one, the Globex, for those of you who are not familiar with it, has only been around since the late 80s, early 90s. How many of you are familiar with the Globex? Okay, so if you're not familiar with that market, it is the after-hours market where you can trade futures only. It starts 5 o'clock in the evening and goes till 5 o'clock in the morning. Now, all of the times that I will be referring to today are Central Times, and that's because we live in a Central Time zone, and my mind's just not quick enough to convert it quickly. But we have to have, some sort of standard because most of our members, I would say probably 30–40% of our room is overseas, and then, of course, the rest of them are here in the U.S. And we have what I think is the only 24-hour live chat room that is moderated by professional traders throughout the day. We trade different markets at different times, and we help folks navigate the market throughout the day and night. I don't know of anyone else that has a 24-hour chat room, but for those of you real quick who are not familiar with the Globex, it was started in the early 90s, as I said, by the CME in a partnership with Reuters. And in those days, you had to be approved by the Futures Exchange. You had to have a computer that allowed you to access that market. It was a specially designed terminal that cost a few $1,000s to obtain. And once you obtained it, you had to spend somewhere in the neighborhood of $1,000 a month for the membership. And then the trades were something like $25 a round turn. You could trade, obviously, the currencies because that's what it was originally created for. This is the grandfather of electronic trading. So most of the electronic platforms that you see today are in some way connected or originated from this Globex terminal that was, again, a partnership between the CME and Reuters. And so when we refer to the Globex, we're really talking about trading futures overnight. Most think that the markets really start trading at 8:15, 8:30 in the morning in the U.S., but in reality, if you believe in the 24-hour market and 24-hour trading, they actually start at 5 o'clock. So tomorrow's trading will begin in the world that I'm in, and for most who are in the 24-hour market, it starts at 5 o'clock this evening Central Time. It'll go till 8:30 in the morning, and then, of course, it seamlessly converts over to a U.S. market trading. So in other words, if you want to take advantage of trading overnight while most of the U.S. is sleeping, or you want to hedge a portfolio, this is the only place in which you can do that. All right, so the market shuts down from 3:30 to 4:15, and it's during that time frame, that 45 minutes, where most of the platforms reset and recalculate for margins. That is the only time that in our world this market shuts down. So we are virtually in a 24-hour market. I think we all believe that now. So if you are not familiar with the 24-hour market, and I hope by the time we're finished with our time together today, you'll have a little bit more understanding of how it works. And if you don't, I highly suggest that this is a market you make yourself familiar with, because if I leave you with one bit of information today that I think is important, and as I said, I've been doing this for a very long time, is that if you believe you're in a 24-hour market and you believe we're in a global economy and global markets, that one market affects another, and I think we all believe that now, especially when you wake up in the morning, you find out that the S&Ps of the markets are down because of something that happened in China or Europe. I think that speaks for itself. But if you do not believe in the 24-hour market, I promise you, you're at a huge disadvantage when you're trying to trade or manage your own money, even if you're not going to trade this market. In a 24-hour marketplace, you're leaving some 17 hours of very valuable information on the table that will help your trading and help your investing. Now, a lot of people who have never traded futures or who just started trading futures will say, well, you know, where is the best place to learn how to trade futures? And in my experience, I will tell you, it is the Globex or the markets at night. And I'll tell you why, because they are a slower moving market, they trend better, and this is my favorite. You just do not have these high frequency trading programs that can really change the market and create a lot of unnecessary, in my opinion, volatility. Now, for most of you who are familiar with these high frequency trading programs, they require a tremendous amount of volume. These mathematicians, or quants as we call them in our world, who have created these models, they know that it takes a lot of volume, and you just don't have the volume at night to drive these models, so that's why they're not involved. Now, I'm not going to sit here and tell you there are not computers that enter and orders and you know, put in stops and execute trades. Sure, there are computers, but not to the extent that we have them during the daytime markets. And I know that you're going to find this hard to believe if you've never traded in the Globex, but it is a very different market at night, even though you're trading the same financial markets, the currencies, the E-mini, the bonds, what have you. But the trade signals that work at night are very different than the ones we use during the day. And as I said, we have a 24-hour room. I trade around the clock, and you know, I have to cut off my turn off my night market trading mind and go to the daytime trading. So it is a different world entirely. Now, because it's less volatile, you can use tighter stops, and that equates to less risk. Now, generally at night in the Globex, in the market that I moderate, I usually use 2 to 2.5 point stops, and as many of you know, that 2.5 point stop is nothing during the day. It could stop you out even if you had the direction of the market correctly determined. Now, because of the time frame here, this is usually about an hour presentation. I only have 45 minutes, and we got started late, so I'm going to skip through some of these quickly. They will be available if you want to obtain them later, of course. But you can hedge in this particular environment. You know, if you go home fat and happy, let's say you have a $500,000 or $100,000 portfolio, and it's doing nicely and it's performing the way you expected, no surprises yet, and you wake up in the morning and you find out that there's been what I call a bump in the night. There's a tsunami in Japan, or there's a Lehman event, or there's a crisis in Greece, or a crisis in Europe, some sort of rumors that, you know, China's economy is slowing. The list goes on and on and on and on. We all know there's always something. This is the only market that you can turn to hedge your portfolio. Again, I'm not going to go through each and every slide, but the sum of it is that, you know, with one S&P mini, you can basically hedge about a $50,000 portfolio. Now, many of you know, and this happened to us the other night, we were trading the old irrational exuberance. If you've been around long enough, Alan Greenspan, you know, I happened to be trading that night. I happened to be long. Market was going our way. We were up a couple of points, and all of a sudden Alan Greenspan made his famous and infamous, if you will, comment about the markets being overbought. And so that changed our entire, you know, the way we were trading the market. Of course, you know, we took our lumps that night and paid our tuition, if you will. And this happened just recently. In fact, I think it was this week, one of the policymakers with the ECB in Europe, in fact, it was last week, he came out and made comments that, you know, negative interest rates can be even more negative than they are. They plan to continue their QE program in Europe, and the market all of a sudden ran some 12 S&P points, and we didn't have a clue that that statement was about to be made or that he was even speaking. So, you know, it is a world where we see a lot of financial engineering. We see central bankers making comments that can affect these markets and change the profile of these markets in a matter of seconds. Now, what I want to try to cover real quick, hopefully, before we part ways, is that we want to talk about how we approach these markets in our chat room. In other words, what's the difference between an average trader and a successful one? And I really think that most of you are familiar with these concepts. So I'm not going to spend, again, a lot of time on them, but let me see if I can touch on each one quickly. Of course, key market times, you have that in any market. In our world, you know, we see moves in the market before Europe opens and before Asia opens. I'll talk about that in a minute. We have our proprietary signals and indicators that are unique and only really help you in this market at night. As I said, trading the Globex at night is different from trading during the daytime, even though you're trading the same markets. Then we have what we refer to as Greekisms. That's a nickname given to basic signals that we see on a regular basis. You know, in the Globex, this nickname was given to these signals that I've spent years developing by the folks in the room. They like to give each other nicknames, and we do have, and I will say, probably one of the, and I've been in a lot of chat rooms, probably one of the most social and helpful and friendly chat rooms I've ever been involved in, and we're very proud of that. Number 4, guys and gals, money management. If you have never, ever had an effective or consistent, efficient money management system, you're just not going to be consistent in your returns. That I can promise you. At least that's my experience. A good money management system is as important as your discipline for entering and exiting markets. So we'll touch on that real quick and just tell you how we handle that. Like I said, I'm rushing through these, and I apologize because I'm trying to stay within the time frame. All right, key market times. Asia, with the markets that run from 5 till midnight in our world, that's the Asian control. We watch the hangs. And why just those 2 markets? Because we're only looking for those markets that affect the S&Ps at night. Experience is the Hang Seng and the Nikkei. Now, some of you will ask, well, what about South markets or Australia or Canada? And the answer is they just do not have the same S&Ps that the Hang Seng and the Nikkei. So again, Asia can affect the S&Ps from 5 to midnight. Now here's the difference from trading during the day. You're not going to watch or try to determine direction for the Nikkei or the Hang Seng during the day when you're trading, because it doesn't affect the S&P unless there's been some, you know, huge news event, which we see from time to time, but I'm speaking about on a regular basis. Then we have the European control, which is from 12 a.m. till 5 a.m. in the morning. Once you get past 5 a.m., you start to get into, you know, again, U.S. fundamentals and how the U.S. market's going to react on its own. But from 12 a.m. till 5 a.m., if you can determine what, especially the DAX in Germany, is going to do, then you can figure out the direction of the S&Ps. So the 2 markets that we watch, obviously the DAX in Germany, because it's the largest economy in Europe, and of course, which is considered to be the financial center of the world. Some would argue that, of course. But as I said before, if I leave you with anything when we're done today, is that we're in a 24-hour market. I think we all know that now and believe in it, even though I've been talking about that for the past 20 years, and it's going to become more so than not. And, you know, what can happen with China and its GDP, or China and PMI, or the DAX and its consumer confidence numbers can affect the U.S., at least on how it opens on a regular basis. I mean, you really stop and think about it. A few years ago, you really didn't care about GDP in China, but now that they're the second largest economy, having just overtaken Japan, you better know, because in a global economy, if China suffers, the U.S. suffers, Europe suffers, and it's just a circle that keeps going. Now, in the 24-hour room that we have Traders Den, we have from 5 a.m. till 7, we have Dr. Frank Stanley, who calls Russell, NASDAQ futures, and option trade setups. From 8 to 10, we have Dirty Harry, and Dirty Harry will generally trade the mini S&P, and on occasion he'll call trades in the bonds. From 10 to 11:30, we have all index traders calling trades. We have John Andrews that goes from 12 to 1 on option setups. And then we have Roy Rotola. We call him West Coast Roy. Everyone has a nickname in our chat room. And he calls E-mini futures using volume profile, and Murray lines, which is a very sophisticated way of trading. So he educates you as to how to use that system as he calls trades. And in fact, all the traders are going to do the best they can to educate you in terms of what they're doing, how they do it, so that you can not only have this information to trade on your own, but trade with them more successfully. So again, if you are ignoring the night session, or what we call the Globex, even if you're not going to trade in it, this is a market you should understand, because you're leaving some 17 hours of valuable information on the table if you don't. You don't have to stay up all night. In fact, one of the biggest complaints we have with our chat room, even though we have consistent returns, is that, Bill, I can't stay up all night. I have a family, have a job. Even if you're retired, it's hard to do. We know that and understand that. And that's one of the reasons we went to a 24-hour room, so that you can trade, when it's convenient to your schedule, trade with those traders that your philosophy most aligns with. Does someone trade 24 hours in our room? We have 1 or 2 or 3, maybe 5% of the room, the diehards that, trade around the clock. They take naps. But for the most part, we have most of our members will find a time of day that fits their schedule. They may trade with Dirty Harry from 8 to 10 because they like the morning session, and then they'll join me at 5 o'clock in the evening and trade for a few hours. I would say most of the trades that I call are before midnight, probably even before 10 o'clock. We're usually in a trade and out of a trade, but we don't generally carry a trade over into the U.S. Open. Very seldom will that happen. So we have our proprietary signals that I have spent, most of my career developing, and those are pivot times when the markets are known to move. We have the international markets, the DAX, as I said earlier, FTSE, Hang Seng, Nikkei. And if you don't know how to get those quotes, we provide those to you for free in our chat room. You try to get those quotes on your own, and I'm speaking real-time quotes now, not delays that you can find on most websites. You'll have to spend 25 to 40, 50 bucks a month. With most platforms, we provide those in our chat room for free. Then we have the trading of the dome, depth of market, which most of you have on your platforms. Now, during the day, you do not use this as a trading vehicle, but at night, it is one of our primary indicators. It's a volume indicator that we use, and it works at least 80–85% of the time, and is very reliable, and as I said, one of our primary indicators. All right, then we have the bonds, the yen, the euro. These are other markets that we will look at. Now, before we started all these currency manipulations and currency wars, and what I call financial engineering, or what most call financial engineering by central banks around the world, you didn't pay close attention to the yen and the euro and the dollar. But today, you better follow these markets, because they are having a dramatic effect, and it can help you also find trades that make sense. Now, Greekisms, I know you don't understand that yet, but essentially, these are events or signals that I have discovered that work on a regular basis. For example, Monday, after the options expiration Friday, is usually an up day, and that is about 80 to 85% of the time. Now, none of these happen 100% of the time, guys and gals. In fact, if you find something that happens 100% of the time, or someone tells you they have an indicator that works 100% of the time, I question it dramatically. But these are regular events or signals that occur in the Globex. Monday, as I said, is generally an up day. Why is that valuable? Because you can start trading at 5 p.m. in the Globex on a Sunday if you know that there's a high probability the market's going to open up on Monday because of options expiration Friday, where they're still aligning trades and settling those trades from last week. Then that's very helpful when you're trying to trade the Sunday night session. One of my favorite setups is Greekism number 2, overnight short squeeze. Now, generally speaking, and we may even see it today, where if the market, the S&P, during the day session, if it closes at the top tick within the last hour of trading, so in the last hour of trading, if the S&P is closed near their top or their high of the day, usually we short them early in the Globex and can pick up a couple of points. This is one of my favorite trades and has its highest probability and percentages of being successful. All right. There are probably some 20 of these Greekisms. Obviously, we don't have time to go through them all day. They're available in our, you can pull them up and keep the slides and use them as much as you like. Now, if I leave you with any one thought about trading, money management, this is where I see most traders in their weakness, if they have one, it's usually in money management. You know, and this is where I see most of the mistakes that most folks have or make. Even if you have a good trading discipline, if you do not have a consistent money management program, I just don't think your results are going to be consistent. So what we do in the room, and I'll try to cover these quickly, we have webinars on Tuesdays that go over this extensively, which is part of the membership of our room. Is over trading. I think we all understand that one. I don't think I need to spend a lot of time on it. Then you have trying to hit home runs. I think we've all tried to do that. This one probably seems a little out of whack to you. Not withdrawing your profits on a regular basis. You know, you spend a lot of money trying to educate yourself, learning how to trade, time in front of the computer, your emotions, the psychology of trading that takes its toll on all of us. And what we have found that it's just a reward system that if you take money out of your account on a monthly or quarterly, whichever pleases you, basis, reward yourself for your time and your effort, you'll be surprised psychologically what that'll do for you. Now, here's the one that gets most. I find most folks either trade too many contracts or not enough. And that is an easy problem to solve. And our approach is that when you join our chat room, one of the first things we'll ask you to do is set a goal, because most of the folks that join our program are looking to add money to their income. Let's just take real quick, so maybe this will help you understand how we go about it. We set goals, and we tell them to set a goal. Let's say use $2,000 as an example. If your goal is to make $2,000 a month or to supplement your income by $2,000 a month, you can do that by using 2 contracts. Now, if your goal is to make $10,000 a month, obviously you can't do that with 2 contracts. You have to trade more. But if you set a realistic goal, by doing that, it backs you into how many contracts you're going to trade, what kind of stops you need to use. And it determines a lot of your trading systems, at least in our room, and how we approach it. Because I may call a trade at night. In fact, last night I gave the room a trade to buy 2102, a half unit. So if a unit is 2 contracts, for most of the folks in our room, that's what it is. Then you buy one, and then we may try to add on another later, or we may take it off and stagger our stops. But by trading more than one contract, it gives you flexibility when to get in and out of a trade. You can stagger out. You can stagger your entries into the trade. You can use different stops, so it gives you a lot of advantages. But here's the key. Once you set your unit, you don't change it. You're not going to trade 4 contracts one day, then you get behind and you decide you're going to double up and trade 8, and then the hole gets bigger, now you're trading 10, and then you have a huge loss. You lick your wounds, now you're back to trading 2. Guys and gals, I've seen this mistake over and over and over again. Made it myself in the early days of trading, and it's just not going to work when you're doing that on a consistent basis. I'm not going to say you're not going to have a stretch where you make some money, but I'm talking about you have to have a money management system that is consistent, and you use the same number of contracts all the time when you're trading. So if you're a 2 contract trader, 1 unit's 2 contracts. Now you can stagger one, add on another one later if you choose when the market is going your way, or if you're behind on a trade and want to add one on, you can do that as well. But you always stay with a unit of 2 contracts. You don't up it to 4 or 5 until you've decided you just want to long-term change your unit. So in our chat room, we have moderators who are going to help you navigate these markets around the clock. I don't know of another room that does that. If you find one by live professional traders who have years and years of experience to help you navigate these markets, then please let me know. I'd like to know about it, but we don't know of one yet. You can minimize your risk in our room by using our system. Don't overtrade, and here's the big one. You set a goal, guys and gals, because if your goal, just think about this now, especially if you've been trading the E-mini at all. If your goal is to make $2,000 a day, you assume there are 20 trading days in each and every month, not counting holidays like Christmas and what have you, of course. Then all you have to do is average $100 a day. Now, some days you're going to lose money. Some days you're going to make more than maybe your average. The point I'm making is if you set a goal of $2,000, that puts you at trading 2 contracts. You only have to average $100 a day. That's not hard to do. You average $100 a day, now you've supplemented your income by $2,000 a month. Here's the hard part. Once you've reached your goal for the day, you quit. Here's the problem that I see. Most will hit their goal. In fact, I hit mine on a regular basis at night only to get into this crazy volatile market during the day and give some of it back. When you reach your goal, quit. Turn the computer off, walk away, read a book, take a walk, or just sim trade. Just change your account over and just do simulation trades. That, always helps. The more you trade, the better, obviously, you're going to get. Take that weekly or monthly or quarterly check from your account to reward yourself for your hard work. Now, I'm starting to run out of time here, so let me go through this real quick. We are a Ninja affiliate, and, of course, we do not care what platform you trade on. We have folks who trade on the GAIN platform, which is the old OEC. We have Thinkorswim. I mean, IB. They're all over the place. We don't really care about what platform you trade on, as long as you have a dome, as long as you're happy with the margin requirements and the commissions that they charge, and you're getting good fills, then you can trade on any platform you choose. But we are a Ninja affiliate. Some of the feeds in our room are through Ninja, but you can get those. You don't have to have a Ninja account to get these feeds. We provide them for you. If you logged into our chat room tonight, this is the chart that you would see over to the right. Most of you are probably familiar with those Renko bars, and on the left, that's an IB platform where we provide you with the foreign quotes that I spoke about earlier. All right, so, in summary, key market times, proprietary signals, the Greekisms, money management, these are all methods that we work on, that we teach on a regular basis. And then if you take the systems that we developed over the years, along with the professional traders that are available around the clock to help you navigate these markets, we have a system that we think is one of the best chat rooms you'll find in today's world of trading. This is something that's a website that I didn't even know existed. It's called, I think, traderschool.org. And he posted our returns. So these are some of the returns. On the left-hand side, this is the statement of one of our members. Again, I don't have time to spend on that, but just let me leave you with this. The trial to join our chat room to see if it works the way that I've talked about today. You'll get the Traders Den 101 course. You get 30 days access to the Traders Den room. We have First Tuesday training classes, and the other moderators have their training classes as well on a regular basis. You can attend these classes as many times as you like. We'll have our next one the first Tuesday of June, of course. You'll get market times. You get all the indicators, trades from professional traders around the clock. We don't hold anything back. We're not going to say, okay, join us for 30 days, and here are the other indicators in another 30-day period. We give you everything up front. You get these low-risk, high-reward trade setups, useful tools. You get the trade signals and indicators. And here's a website in which you can get those. And these, again, and I hate to hurry through this, but I'm running out of time. I apologize for that again. These are the times that you have the different moderators calling their different markets. You're going to get the Options 101 2-hour course that Dr. Stanley. Frank Stanley is a PhD in psychology. He also teaches a course on the emotions of trading and the psychology of trading, which is one of our most popular courses. That's part of your membership by being in our chat room. You used to get $700, $800, $900, I forget now, for that course. But you also get his options course, 101, 2-hour course. You've probably heard of Dr. Frank Stanley. He's been around for years in this industry. So you get the 24-hour chat room, all the education you can possibly use. And we're going to give you a 1-month trial for $9. After 30 days, if you like the chat room, it works like we say it does. You're happy with it. It fits your trading style and your trading needs. It goes to $147 a month. So let me repeat that. For 1-month trial, that's $9. Guys and gals, you can. That's a meal at McDonald's drive-through. I mean, for $9, and let me make you this guarantee. And in the 38 years, there's one thing I've learned about the investment business is you never guarantee anyone anything if you are a real professional. But I will make you this guarantee. If you don't learn one trading strategy, you don't learn one trading method, you don't get one idea that will make you a better investor or better trader, in 30 days being a part of our chat room, working with all our different traders, if you do not, learn one method, as I just said, then call me, we'll talk about it, and I'll give you your $9 back. That's how confident I am that by being part of our room, you will learn at least one method or signal or indicator that will make you a better trader. I promise you that. And I can make that promise because we have seen it happen time after time after time. $9 for 30 days. And like I said, if you do not at least benefit or learn one method or system or indicator, then you call me and I'll tell me why you didn't learn anything, and that you didn't learn anything is a total waste of your time. I'll give you your $9 back. All right. I think, and again, I do apologize. This This offer is for the next 48 hours. After that, it expires, and then if you want to join our room, I think there's a $65 trial. But that's if you join in the next 48 hours. It's $9 to see if this room works the way I say it does. Okay, so let me go back and see if I can answer some of these questions real quick. And I think if you have any problems with the website, Reed can furnish you and with that information and give you some help. Okay. I think this webinar has been recorded. Reed, if I believe. And I've posted the link to the website. Absolutely, Marcus, if you have never traded futures and you want to learn to trade futures, the best place to learn is in the Globex at night, because it's just a slower market and it's easier to learn in that kind of environment. Plus, you know, we cater towards trying to help people learn how to trade futures.